Hey everybody. So this is a bit of a test of some cobbled together technology. We're using the latest and greatest advancements in storytime technology. Kind of a proof of concept for something that's a bit of a bigger idea that I want to do in the future. But I'd like to see if this will work first, so thanks for tuning in. I think I'll go ahead and get started, and I think you'll pretty quickly see what this stream is. There's probably not going to be a whole lot of input from me, so. But I hope you guys like it. I hope it all works. If it breaks, which it might, I will have to spend some time debugging it, and I don't have a contingency plan in place, so we're just gonna really hope really hard that doesn't happen, because I don't have a better solution. So anyway, let's get started.
This is a story about Little Mouse. Once upon a time, there was a little mouse who lived in the big barn. They were so small, scarcely anybody paid any attention to them at all, that is, until one fateful day, which I will now describe to you. It was a beautiful summer's day. Little Mouse was strolling through the hay, nibbling on this and that, when they heard a faint whistling sound coming from above their head. Ooh. They said, jumping in the air. There was an opening in the roof of the barn, and through this opening there came a drop of water. It fell down onto Little Mouse's head, and then another drop of water fell down after it. Then a third drop of water fell down, and that one landed right in between Little Mouse's eyes. Little Mouse shook their head, and then, plop, fell right into the hay, fast asleep. When they woke up, it was nighttime. The barn was very different from usual. The air felt thick and heavy, and the hay smelled musty and rotten. The whistling sound came back, but this time it was joined by a whispering voice. Little Mouse, it whispered. Little Mouse, wake up, I have something to tell you. Little Mouse woke up with a start. Through bleary eyes, they saw a strange man standing over them. Who are you? Little Mouse cried, jumping up. What are you doing here? What's going on?
course the day I would try this would be the day that Uberduck is super slow. Or it just broke. One of the two. Give it a second. We'll see. Alright, I'm gonna have to take direct control at this point. It was so fast when I was testing it. It was super, super fast when I was testing it earlier. And of course now, it's being very slow. It could be that
Sure,
this...
the men say, keep your voice down. I'm a friend, and I've come here to save you. To save me. Little Mouse as... From what? From this? The man said, and he stood up on tippy toes, pointing up at the ceiling. Little Mouse looked up and saw that there was a dead bird stuck in the roof. The drops of water were actually its blood, dripping down from its lifeless body. Oh, how awful, Little Mouse said. We've got to do something. You're right, the man said. We do. I've come here to rescue you. Climb onto my back, and I'll take you away from all this. Really, Little Mouse said. You'll really save me. Yes, the man said, but we must be quick. Every second we spend here is dangerous. Let's go. So Little Mouse jumped on the man's back, and the man began walking up the wall. Yes, walking up the wall. Little Mouse didn't understand how this was possible. Their eyes must be playing tricks on them, but still they trusted the man. After all, he had come to save them from the deed bird. So up the wall they went. Still on the men walked until they reached the ceiling. Then, just as Little Mouse thought they were going to fall, the men stepped off the wall and kept walking straight along the ceiling. Little Mouse shut their eyes tight. When they opened them again, they saw that they were in a whole new place. A beautiful garden. Vines grew along the ground, and from these sprung flowers of every color. Trees with perfect pink blossoms towered above them, and all around they could hear birds singing. This is Poretta's Little Mouse cried. But how did we get here? Come on. The men grabbed Little Mouse by the hand and led them along a winding path. Soon they came to a beautiful cottage. This is my home, the man said, opening the door. Come in. Your home is beautiful, Little Mouse said, looking around. Thank you, the man said. It would be complete without a picture on the wall. Come on, let's get to work. The men walked over to the far wall, which was empty except for a single nail. Carefully, he took a tiny piece of wood off of the floor and put it on the nail. Then, holding his hand under it to catch the splinters, he tapped it gently with a hammer. Little Mouse watched as the piece of wood slowly became a picture of a little house, just like the man's. Little Mouse jumped up and down with glee. "I did it," they cried. "I made a picture of a house, and now we can live in it forever and be happy." But the man shook his head. "No," he said. "It's a picture of a house, but it's also a house. Now we live in it, and someone else is inside it." Little Mouse looked at the picture. Through the glass, they could see that there was a tiny man sitting in a little chair. He had taken his jacket off and thrown it over one of the chairs and was already fast asleep. "Now he is sleeping in our house," Little Mouse said, horrified. "But we need it, I mean. You rescued me from the deep burn, and now we have to live somewhere." "Well," the man said, scratching his head, "I suppose we could share. You can come live in my house, and we can put this picture on the wall." "Oh, yes," Little Mouse said, "let's do that." So the man took down the picture and put it on the wall. But just as they were about to do that, there was a rather loud knocking on the front door. Here they heard a voice cry, "I know someone is in there. Open up." Quickly the man said, motioning to the picture, "Get inside." So Little Mouse got inside the picture, and the men put it against the wall. Then he tucked it away between the wall and the floorboards. There was a tiny gap, but it was too small for even a beam of light to get through. There, the men said, "Now no one will ever be able to find you." "But how shall I get food to eat?" Little Mouse asked the man. "I shall go out to get it. But if you leave, they'll find me," Little Mouse asked. "I'll never be able to leave again. Don't worry about that." The man smiled. "I'll bring it to you." And with that, he left the room. For a while, Little Mouse waited in the darkness. Then, after a while, they began to get hungry. They didn't like this at all. What if the man never came back? What if he found another little girl to rescue and left them here all alone? Suddenly, they heard the door open. Quickly, they hid behind the picture, not wanting to be found. They heard footsteps approaching. "Hello," a voice called. It was the same man. "I brought you some food." The man put some bread and milk down on the floor. He picked up Little Mouse and whistled a tongue. The walls began to move back together. "Wait," Little Mouse cried. "Don't leave me here alone. I'm afraid of the dark." But it was too late. The man had already shut the door, and Little Mouse was alone in the dark once again. The next day, it happened again. The man opened the door, whistled a tongue, and the walls opened up. He put Little Mouse down and put some food on the floor. This is getting quite repetitive, Little Mouse thought aloud. They wished something exciting would happen. But, as always, the men closed the walls, whistled his song, and left. This pattern continued for a few months. But after those months, something more interesting and exciting happened to Little Mouse. "Hello," they called. "Is anyone there?" But no one answered. The house was completely silent. Little Mouse approached the wall that had once led to their own little house. It was now solid wood. They tried pushing it and pulling it, but it wouldn't budge. It was as if the house had absorbed it. "Hello," they called again, but there was no answer. "What's going on?" Little Mouse asked. They looked at the tiny window, but it was too high up to reach. Sighing, they sat down on the floor to wait. Soon, the man came back in. "Ah, you're awake," he said. "I was wondering if you'd still be here. Where else would I go?" Little Mouse asked bitterly. "This room's disappeared, and the walls have turned into the house walls."
Hey guys, just a quick note. Somebody alerted me that I forgot to turn the resolution of the stream back up after my really funny joke from last time. Is that a problem? Is it unwatchably small and in horrible low quality? I didn't realize that, did not realize that I forgot to change it away. I could change it back, but I'd have to take this stream down for 1 second and turn it back up. It would only take a short moment to fix this. I'll leave it up to you guys. Do you care? No one needs to read the chat. I'm going to take the stream down for 1 second. And I'm gonna bring it right back up. So don't go away, okay? Don't leave. Don't leave. I'll know. I'm watching. Nobody leave. I'll be right back. Promise.